What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, retired, legendary, iconic, Hall of Fame, superstar boxer, former 5 division world champion, former pound for pound king, the man known as Money, now founder and promoter of Mayweather Promotions, that being none other than 50-0, Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather, he did an interview, a long hour-long interview in which he talked about a plethora of things, how he became who he is, what motivated him to be who he is, and what motivated him to accomplish the things he needed to accomplish within the sport of boxing. And he pointed out that a major reason for him and his success in the sport of boxing was that his father, Floyd Mayweather Sr., told the boxing world and told everybody that would listen that his son would break every record in the sport of boxing. And so Floyd Mayweather, he said, that motivated me. When he stated that and told everybody that he believed that I was going to break every record in the sport of boxing, that motivated me. He stated that, so I laid the blueprint. He stated that I hung out with guys that were billionaires. And when I hung out with guys that were billionaires, those guys that are billionaires, they used to show me their yachts. They would show me their mansions. They would show me their private jets. He said, I told them, this is cool. I love to visit. I love to be on the yachts. I love to be on the jets. But I need to know how to have my own. How to be the one on the other side of this conversation and have my own. So he stated that was a big reason why he bought his way out of his contract with legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter, Bob Arum, and Top Rank. And he stated, I turned $750,000 into $750 million in 3 fights because I believed in myself. I laid the blueprint for all these guys coming up behind me, and they're just refusing to take the lesson that should be learned. He said the reason and the way you get to where I'm at is simply by listening, learning, and doing. So he said, you have to listen to what's being told to you. You have to learn it, and then you have to incorporate it. So he stated that the 3 L's, okay, listen, learn, and LLI, listen, learn, and incorporate, okay? And so with that said, he stated that these fighters behind me, I gave them the blueprint. And then he said, let's just look at a guy that should be a much bigger star and much bigger superstar than he actually is. And that's undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the reigning WBO, World Boxing Organization welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Crawford is 38 wins, no losses, no draws, 29 big wins by way of knockout, 34 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. So Floyd Mayweather, he stated that, Terence Crawford, if he was with him, he would be a much bigger star than what he is currently today, okay? And he stated he would love to work with a guy like Terence Crawford. Now look at the situation with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has now parted ways after his last fight, which was his biggest fight in his career, against 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Sean Porter, in which Terence Crawford achieved something that's never been done, in which he dropped Sean Porter twice in a fight, twice in 1 round, and he ultimately got the stoppage when Kenny Porter, father, trainer, and manager of Sean Porter, waved the white towel. So with that said, he stated that, he would love to work with a guy like Terence Crawford because the proof is in the pudding with his career and how he's bringing along undefeated 3-division world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis, who is 26 wins, no losses, no draws, 24 wins by way of knockout. He's 27 years of age, 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. So he said, the proof is in the pudding. Look what I'm doing with Gervonta Tank Davis' career. He's a superstar and a pay-per-view star in the sport of boxing, okay? So a guy like Terence Crawford, I could definitely make him a superstar, okay? So, the big fights, now Terence Crawford, those big fights, they have been eluding Terence Crawford, okay? The big main stage has been eluding Terence Crawford. And now Terence Crawford, after his fight, everybody has been anticipating Terence Crawford parting ways with Bob Arum and ESPN and Top Rank. because he simply was unable to secure the big fights. Okay, it was being talked about Terence Crawford and legendary 8 division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. That was being talked about since 2014, since around the time Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao was being talked about. Bob Arum had been making mention of a possible Terence Crawford Manny Pacquiao showdown. Well, that's before when we was going through the whole back and forth. Is Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao ever going to fight each other? Okay, is Manny Pacquiao, done? Manny Pacquiao, is he ever going to take the test? Is Floyd Mayweather ever going to budge? The biggest fight in boxing history, is it ever going to come to fruition? There was talks of a possible Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao fight to, help prepare Manny Pacquiao, because Terence Crawford is a fighter that can switch from southpaw to orthodox. He's a pure boxer. He's defensively savvy. He's slick. So is that a fight under the same stable? Because Manny Pacquiao and Terence Crawford were both under Top Rank. Okay, and so that was another sticking point. Floyd Mayweather, he even made mention of Manny Pacquiao, how he offered Manny Pacquiao back then to give Manny Pacquiao the financial freedom. Okay. So with Floyd Mayweather, he stated that, he offered Manny Pacquiao, big money before the fight even came to fruition, but he wasn't willing to bet on himself. So again, this fight with Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather is being held up by, again, Manny Pacquiao and Top Rank and Bob Arum. Okay. And so with that said, as soon as Manny Pacquiao agreed that he was willing to take the Olympic style testing that Floyd Mayweather wanted, the fight happened. Okay. So with that said, Floyd Mayweather has given so many different examples and so laid out so many different blueprints of how to be your own boss, essentially. Okay. And so with that said, with Terence Crawford, the Manny Pacquiao, that was 2014. Every year it was being talked about and mentioned that it's a possible opportunity for Terence Crawford to fight a legend in Manny Pacquiao, a legacy-defining fight. And he never got it. And we're in 2022, and every year Bob Arum was saying that it's a possibility, all the way up until the summer of 2021. In June of 2021, we're expecting to see Terence Crawford versus Manny Pacquiao June 5th of 2021. But Bob Arum, he stated on numerous occasions he prevented those fights from happening. He stated that, he didn't like, the passing of the torch situation because Manny Pacquiao was a friend of his. On top of that, he didn't want to pay the purse that Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao was seeking out. Then all the way up to now, in this June, he said that there was an investment group in Abu Dhabi that was willing to put up the money for Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao fight. But Bob Arum, he stated, I was unwilling to, the investment group was unwilling to continue with it. They dropped out. And he stated that we could have put up the money for Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, but we chose not to because we didn't see a financial gain or reimbursement on this investment. So he blocked the fight. So Terence Crawford never got the fight. And so now Terence Crawford is parting ways and taking Bob Arum and Top Rank to court. And he's citing that they had dropped the ball on his career, essentially. Okay. And that he wasn't happy with the way things played out. And so after his fight with Sean Porter, immediately following the fight, post-fight press conference, Terence Crawford let it be known, Bob Arum couldn't give me the big fights. The biggest fight in the sport of boxing is Terence Crawford versus undefeated, unified WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Earl of Truth Spence Jr., who's 27 wins, no loss, and no draw. Is 21 wins by way of knockout, 31 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach, and widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. That's the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. And Terence Crawford couldn't secure the fight, okay? And he stated that Bob Arum couldn't secure the fight with Errol Spence when he was with him, and now he's parting ways with him, okay? And so this was highly anticipated, but it's long overdue, as many people have been waiting for Terence Crawford to part ways because he simply was not landing the big fights, and Terence Crawford was being defensive of Bob Arum and Top Rank not getting those big fights and placing blame on the other side, quote unquote, of the street with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, founder and advisor Al Heyman, and those fighters, the Sean Porters, the Errol Spencers, Keith Thurmans, the Danny Garcias. He placed blame on them instead of placing blame where it belonged, okay? And so Floyd Mayweather is saying that, the goal is in life is to have financial freedom where you could wake up and go to sleep when you want to and don't have to worry about it. If you have to wake up on a time clock, then somebody else is controlling you. So essentially he's saying that, he's been telling these fighters fighters for years that they could turn, he turned water into wine, okay, essentially, right? He had to fight with, he has 3 lucrative fights in his career: the Manny Pacquiao fight, the Canelo Alvarez fight, the Oscar De La Hoya fight, the Conor McGregor fight. 4 lucrative fights. He broke every record, so he laid the blueprint for these fighters, and they just have been reluctant to, to take the, the lesson, take the class and believe in themselves and trust in themselves. The only fighter today's time that has essentially done that, and it's not working for him as far as getting the biggest fights because he's taking that path and nobody wants to see another Floyd Mayweather, is undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney, who's 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 15 wins by way of knockout, 23 years of age, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. He is the only guy that has completely followed that blueprint with his father, trainer, and manager, Bill Haney, okay? So Floyd Mayweather said that, let it be known that these fighters, including Terence Crawford, could have been much bigger fighters if they bet on themselves, financial freedom, listen, learn, and incorporate. So let's see how this plays out with Terence Crawford. Now Terence Crawford is taking Bob Arum and Top Rank to court, citing that they promised him a fight with Errol Spence after his fight with Igor Kavalauskas, his WBO mandatory, and to help them, get another agreement with ESPN, an extension with them and a contract with them. And he did that, and they didn't uphold their end of the bargain. He was also supposed to receive $900,000 bonuses he didn't receive. And he's citing $10 million in damages. So let's see how this all unfolds and plays out. But Floyd Mayweather tells him, I told you how to turn 750,000 into 750 million, and you didn't listen. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out moving forward. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.